Hi, dear tutoring classmates. Welcome to my concluding project. This is going to be the final presentation of the course, and I will share with you this wonderful chapter of my English learning journey. To start off, let me give you an introduction about myself. My name is Laura Salazar. I'm 25 years old, and I'm currently studying at Unity University, pursuing a bachelor's degree in foreign languages with emphasis in English. And today I'm truly excited because I'm going to share more about my learning outcomes, expectations, and all the things that I have learned so far. And I'm really grateful with my tutoring classmates for this wonderful experience because it gave me many opportunities to grow, to learn, and to engage in different moments. So I really appreciate so much the moments of feedback, dialogue, and camaraderie. So let's dive in and explore this journey together. To begin with, I'm going to talk about my learning expectations, responding the first question. Before starting the course, I remember that I had this notebook where I wrote down some of my objectives and actions that I wanted to take in order to flourish my English skills. For instance, I knew that I needed to make my English more like a habit. And having said that, I expected to study carefully the lessons that the course had and practice them in everyday situations, such as describing my leisure activities with my friends, using the present simple because we had some conversations online. And I wanted to make sure that I could use the course topics to ask them questions and express some of the things that I really enjoy in my free time. Like I really enjoy doing karate, or going for a walk is a beneficial morning exercise, or I enjoy some other activities like I go jogging 3 times a day. And besides, another goal that I had was that I wanted to speak and write in a well organized and accurate way so I can be more understandable. And I also wanted to immerse myself in more social and cultural environments where I could interact more with my tutor, classmates, and not only them, but also other people around the world. And we could talk about different things like habits, traditions, or even beliefs, because I think it's a way to connect more with people and improve my social skills. And I also have to say that listening and speaking were other skills that I wanted to improve because there are some of my strong weaknesses. And with the listening quizzes and drills, I also wanted to use some online exercises to test my comprehension level, depending on accents and situations. And with speaking, I wanted to use some lessons like place exploration task and ask people some questions about trips to have a conversation there and to step out of my comfort zone. And finally, through the course, I intended to be a better human being, sharing with my classmates, learning with them, and building strong social connections. But mainly, I wanted to improve academically and professionally. So regarding the second question, I would say that the course gave me a lot of opportunities to reinforce in some areas like the usage of frequency adverbs. And also, I became more confident when I made my own ideas in negative, affirmative, or interrogative ways in either past or present tenses. So one example that I can give you about it was right the time when I asked my classmates what were their regular habits or what they liked in their spare time during the discussion forums. And also I wanted to improve in the usage of the regular verbs, and I was really happy to see that I had some improvements and I was able to use more expressions like she drove from Pereira to Medellin, or they had spoken for a long time, or I sang at the karaoke last night. And here are some examples that I wanted to share with you about the present simple tense and the present progressive tense. I made those sentences before I created my presentation and I wanted to have it in the slide. And here are other ones for the past simple and the past perfect tense and for the modal verb should. For the modal verb should, we often use it to express suggestions and advice. So it kind of reminds me of the time where I talked to my grandmother and I said that you should take some medicine because it will help you alleviate with the symptoms because she was feeling under the weather. So I used the modal verb to express that recommendation to my grandmother. And using the comparatives and the superlatives was another area that I became more prepared for. So I was able to distinguish more ways that I could describe things, objects, people, or even experiences. So for instance, if I want to compare those notebooks, I can say that this big notebook is smaller than this one. Or I can also use some other situations like my earrings, and I can say that this earring is more beautiful than this one. We often use the comparatives when we are comparing two things, but when we are talking about the superlatives, we often use it to talk about one thing that is being compared to other things. So, for instance, studying an Unity has been the most rewarding experience that I have ever had. So it's time to practice through life stories. I'm going to use these grammar topics and I'm going to associate them with the experiences and all the situations that I have on a daily basis. So to start with, I have been a person who enjoys taking photographs of flowers outside, and I regularly go to the gym 3 times a week. On my way home, I always take my phone out of my bag to take some photos of the trees and flowers. And additionally, one of my big passions is to go to the movies with my family. And as a matter of fact, last week I had the opportunity to share with my brothers. We wanted to go to the movies and we went to see some of them available at the entrance. And as a result, we decided to watch a Karate Kid, and then we bought popcorn with soda. And I remember that I talked to my brothers and we shared stories and opinions that afternoon. And it was definitely a fantastic experience because we had a blast and we enjoyed the movie a lot. And those are the moments that make life special and unforgettable. And along with sharing with my family, I'm a big fan of traveling. And last year, I went to Santa Marta with my grandmother. We went to visit some picturesque places. I met new people. I ate more food. And I was amazed to see how people were big hearted and they always put a smile on their faces. But something that I can remember the most was the time that I saw some kids running around the beach because things felt so right and peaceful. And that's what I believe that visiting Santa Marta was the most memorable experience ever, even though the food in my city is more delicious than the food I ate in Santa Marta. And using these vocabulary and grammar structures really helped me improve my self-confidence. Now let's talk about vocabulary improvements. And as being part of the course, I valued the moments where my tutor gave me feedback on article usage and word choice. And before I started the course, I had some familiarity with some expressions, even though sometimes I struggled to remember words that I previously learned because they easily faded away. And with the course, I had the opportunity to review expressions with the proper word choice, like the expression to get things off my chest. And besides, I was able to have my ideas more precise and accurate. And here are some of the words that I learned about physical appearance throughout the course, and I wanted to share them with you. And here we have some words like nouns, adjectives, and expressions about food that I also learned. And about transportation, I learned those expressions that you can see on the slide, and I wanted to also have it in the presentation. Now let's explore some English learning websites. And besides the virtual learning objects, I would say that I really enjoyed other websites and other spaces. For instance, participating in the learning in this community that is called Online Language Community was such a fantastic experience because I met new classmates from different courses and levels. And I really enjoyed the chats one-on-one and the conversation clubs because it was like a way for me to improve more my speech and to have more fluency. And sometimes I also participated in Inglés Sin Fronteras, and it gave me a chance to brush up on my grammar. And during my research, I discovered other websites for practicing my listening, writing, and reading skills, such as Learn English Online by British Council, Hello and Rando, Test English, Agenda Web, and ESL Launch. And even though I was familiar with some of them, I also discovered other amazing websites like the Perfect English Grammar or the English Club. And they offer many exercises for me to practice my grammar. And I also enjoyed those dictionaries of word reference and Cambridge because I was able to take a look at synonyms, antonyms, and collocations more. And for reading and writing exercises, I turned to some YouTube channels like G Forest, and I really enjoyed that channel because she often provided some exercises for me, and I was able to understand how the language was used. And sometimes she would explain some phrasal verbs and some idioms when reading the paragraphs. And for listening, speaking, and pronunciation, I use some websites like Elsa Speaker, artificial intelligence tools, but sometimes I often relied on some YouTube channels with the IELTS speaking and listening simulations because it really helped me a lot comprehend different situations in English. And now one relevant website that I found very useful was Quizlet because I was able to increase my vocabulary using flashcards and specifically having the spaced repetition method where I could review them and I could create my own study units or I could use some coming from other people. So I think that it was really dynamic and effortless in my English learning. And regarding the last question, I would say that mastering these skills with practice and motivation will allow me to create and explore resources that will benefit my learning and help others because I want to inspire and help other people through this fantastic language. And I feel that my growth in the language has made me be more persistent, disciplined, and motivated to learn and use the language to transform lives, to communicate effectively, and connect with people. And additionally, I would say that enjoying this journey with love, dedication, and self power, I will be able to have more opportunities, not only in terms of working or studying overseas, but I will also be a person who is better, who grows, motivates, and encourages people to keep working in their dreams. Like my dream to learn a language, when they have their minds into something, everything is possible when they have that willingness to keep working. And that's what I want to tell people through learning English that they can pursue their dreams and the sky is the limit. And that's why I really appreciate so much all the lessons that the teacher and the classmates gave me. And I want to thank you so much for listening to the presentation.